So what was the frame of mind you were in? Like, what was you take me to what you
I
was
was
feeling? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because like I said, you touch on a lot of different
yeah
ways of emotions in that album.
yeah it was a lot going on. Like even the first song, like so one thing I point out is I appreciate I just appreciate hearing artists growth,
Yeah,
and not necessarily just in musicality, but like the thought process, like what what they're into now versus the last time you heard them.
yeah,
Can you tell or can you hear that okay they've been doing some self work or some self reflecting? Can you hear that they're experiencing new things? You know what I mean? Like they done some traveling. You know what I'm saying? And they might got a new car, whatever.
right.
I just like to hear the growth, and it doesn't mean like it needs to be, um, like Ivy League, book smart.
Yeah,
I just want to see that you ain't just stuck,
right.
And so even like the first line on Too Deep for the intro, when I say extend the clip, extend the row. I take an empty bank account and fill it with O's. I take an empty car log and fill it with hoes.
This spoken word right now. You giving it?
So like that part was very intentional.
Okay.
Because if you listen to the rest of the album, there ain't no mention of hoes.
Yeah.
So it was like a moment of like, mind you, I'm not. It was just a moment of like me saying, if you can hear like there's some type of, and I want to make it seem like not saying hoes is growth,
Right.
but it was like.
To get it in and out the way was.
Yeah, it was like yo, I'm making this statement. Now listen to what I'm saying.
Right.
You know.
You was almost giving people the medicine and the candy.
Yeah.
Giving them what's gonna stand out, but keep listening.
Yeah, and it goes from that to talking about the idea that people really want you to like rush the art,
Yeah.
and it's really about what I want now. Like I want new songs, Jerreau. Give me new songs.
Right.
And so like in that song, I'm like, it was what I say. I'm paraphrasing, but it was something to the effect of, people think that I'm on their time, and it's like you gotta let people go through their own process, and even if you think it's a hindrance to them, like you just can't make somebody come to Jesus,
Right.
So it goes from that to me talking about my cousin being murdered to my mom having breast cancer, like so the tone, the intention was to start off on some I'm just talking shit, and ends with I cry myself to sleep, I'm a grown man, like
Yeah.
like oh shit, ain't too many men been vulnerable in that way. Period. So I think it was just more so about me, just being honest and being vulnerable about where I was and where I was at, and what I wanted people to take from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you think about keys, does it feel like does keys put you in the mind frame of like reflecting over your whole life? Like, 'cause when I hear it and I digest it, I feel like you giving us like an autobiography almost. Like,
Yeah,
it feels different to me in that way.
yeah. It definitely was a. I feel like a lot of introspective, self-reflective thinking, and just touching on things that I just maybe felt like I needed to say. Like even the story Blended Family, when I'm talking about my family dynamic.
Crazy record. I hit you about that record multiple times. Like,
Yeah.
yo, this the one, bro.
Yeah.
This is the one.
Yeah, because I know a lot of people come from blended families,
100%.
and their experience, all of their experience wasn't like mine. In my case, I had a loving stepmother, rest in peace,
God bless.
who, there was not once that I ever feel like that she resented me, or she had an issue with me and my sister being present or being there. Like I see a lot of times, there's our adults who take out their shortcomings on their kids, and it was never that. so yeah. So I wanted to talk through that, and yeah, because even what's crazy about that is um what was it? What verse was it? Ride Death. The verse for Ride Death, I sent it to the artist featured on there, Kane.
Mm-hmm.
And he was trying to figure out what to say. And so I just was like, man, let me just come up with something. Let me just write it and then send it to him and say, yo, just do this.
Mm-hmm.
And so the hook says, ride death, empty your cup till ain't nothing left.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was just a saying that I always heard growing up at church. You know what I'm saying? It was like, just empty your cup. Like we can't take this with us. You know what I'm saying? So make sure that you're living up to your calling, your potential, and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so the very next day is when my mom passed. So it was like
after you sent him.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was like there was a lot of moments like that were just eerie in a way, and poetic and beautiful, but still like kind of make you like give you goosebumps. Like why? Like how?
Man, that's so interesting you say that, because to me that was a standout. Listening to it too, but there's a lot of like damn near prophetic.
Yeah.
That you were saying on the stuff that would be like that would come to truth, like from the Kobe line to the I get fully dressed to work from home and in the pandemic, like you know what I'm saying, exactly. Like it's a lot of shit that you were saying that was like, oh shit, like, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, and that's how I felt to it in retrospect. Like after it was done, I was like, damn, like I was really, it was almost like I was preparing myself and listeners too, for what was to come. It was just I couldn't explain it. Even that Kobe line, like I struggled with, like I remember I think I hit Mav like, yo, should I still put this out? You know what I mean? Because it just felt, it just felt, it didn't some level didn't feel right. Mm-hmm. Like like the timing of it, like why is this? You say something like that and then that happens. Like it just didn't feel right. But I think ultimately it was more so about speaking your truths, and that's just what the truth is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that it's so many lines like that stand out to me. And again, man, I felt like we were listening to a Jerreau autobiography.
Yeah.
So to me, it made me feel like, all right, like what is he processing? What is he thinking about as he's coming up with this shit? Were you sitting back like, just kind of reflecting on life? You know what I'm saying? Just being an adult and being, you know what I'm saying, being an artist. Was that your process? You was just kind of reflecting and you come up with this stuff, or is it just like as stuff is on your heart, you put that into the music?
Yeah, I think more the latter. But I always just believed in like creating experiences, because you may not benefit from them like in the short term.
Okay.
Like it's stuff that you can just pull from and draw from when you need to. It's like having a reserve bank. Yeah. Like, all right, let me go do this. Let me experience this. Let me see that, so I can pull from those experiences when I need them. And I think it was kind of that. Mm-hmm. It was like as I was creating the album, Keep Everything Yourself. The idea behind it wasn't about being selfish. It was more so about doing like the self work and the self reflective work for yourself. Mm-hmm. So then you can, pour that back into whatever you're doing. Mm-hmm. And so I think a lot of it was just coming as I was creating.
Yeah.
Like to be, and honestly, Blended Family's the oldest record I had.
Really?
But what happened is, so I probably wrote the chunk of it like in, I want to say like 2011.
Oh, wow.
Like the chunk of it, but then I went back and added some more, like the end of the first verse.
Did it not feel right putting it out sooner? Is that?
It just never made sense to. Okay. Like especially I think being that I was in a group for so long, it just like it's hard to allow some stuff to stick and to land when you got to consider other people. You know what I mean? But like being that it's my own shit and my own project, and it's a solo project, like it just felt. You know what I'm saying? Like I could give the story to y'all,
yeah,
and it wouldn't get overshadowed or drowned out.